In order to clean your intake valves, you first have to remove the intake manifold from your car. This can be fairly easy or quite difficult depending on what kind of car you have. Once the intake manifold's removed, you can inspect your intake valves. See, there you go. So that's cylinder 1. Cylinder 2. Cylinder 3 is pretty nasty looking. Cylinder 4. Once you have access to the valves, you'll want to find a way to turn the engine over so different valves are closed. Sometimes you can do this just by pulling on the accessory belt, but I recommend getting a socket or wrench on the crank pulley. Try to find a position where the most intake valves are closed. On a 4-cylinder engine like mine, you should be able to find a spot where 3 out of the 4 cylinders have closed valves. I recommend rotating the crank pulley so that the worst valves are closed first so they have the longest time to soak. Once you're happy with which valves are closed, fill the closed intake ports as much as possible with carb cleaner or if you're cheap, brake clean. For the intake ports with open valves, just spray them briefly, covering all the walls and valves. You don't want to flood the cylinder with brake cleaner or carb cleaner. Once you spray an intake port, put a lint-free towel on the port to reduce evaporation. If you're in a hurry, you can start cleaning the valves right away, but I found that leaving them to soak for an hour made it easier to clean the thicker stuff off. Now it's time to show you how to build the drill-powered zip tie cleaner. The zip ties are soft enough that they won't cause damage to anything, but hard enough to do a decent job scrubbing. I found that for the core of the tool, less can be more depending on the size of your intake ports. With more zip ties, the bundle couldn't get in behind the valves easily and would just destroy the tool. The idea is you go forward and backwards. And the plastic won't damage anything. Then I'll straighten it out and have to go down the other channel, and I'll do that over and over. So here's a little update on that cylinder. You can see the valves are cleaner. In fact, this stuff over here should just wipe out. Cleaning the valves themselves is a very repetitive task where you run the tool in and out over and over, trying to get to every nook and cranny. Then you spray it with some cleaner and wipe it out, and then you repeat it until it's clean. Once I thought I was near the end, I would spray the runners full of brake clean, and then I'd wipe it out with a paper towel by stuffing it in there and letting it absorb everything. I just kept repeating this process until they were as clean as I wanted them. Before you put things back together, be certain everything is out of the intake manifold and valve area. Pieces of zip ties and towels can sometimes be hard to spot. I was skeptical when I first saw this technique, but the results really do speak for themselves.